I'm just happy to be with everybody today. I had knee replacement surgery last Thursday, so and then quite ambitiously scheduled this today. So everything's going really great. I'm just fatigued all the time. So if I yawn a time or two, it's just because I can't hold it back. So but I've got Patsy as my trusty sidekick today, and she, I know, was just introducing herself. I thought what we might do is just take one moment, and not everyone has in their name, their screen name, what league they're from. So it might be helpful just for everyone to hear what league you're with and what your role at league is. This is called Leadership 101, and it's aimed towards league presidents, but also others in leadership positions within local leagues. So I'm Laura Helmer. I'm the state league president. I'm also a member of the Eastern Carver County League. And then let's just do this popcorn style. So when you're finished, just call on the next person that you see. So I'll call on Patsy next.
Well, I am also secretary of the state league currently. That's my other role and how I got into this role today. I see Carol Leonard.
I almost got your sign. Mute sign. Yes, I'm from Brooklyn Park, Osseo, Maple Grove. I'm technically supposed to be a co-president, but I have no other co. So it's just me.
I don't think that's so unique. That happens.
Yeah.
Oh, Karen.
I am membership chair for the St. Cloud Area League.
And how about Lynn?
I am on the self-directed leadership team of Dakota County, along with Thana Ross, who is on the phone today or on the Zoom today, and we don't technically have presidents.
Yes, we're both multi-titled, I think. So leadership team, membership, treasurer, and Corrine.
Hi, I'm Corinne Shepard, and I'm current president of the Bloomington League. And I'll turn it over to my vice president, Catherine, who is on the line. Okay, I know I saw her name, but I did see another one of my co-board members, and that's Jo Holub, and she's Jo, you're on.
Hi, I am the secretary for the Bloomington League.
Hey, Bloomington's well represented today.
Yay.
Let's say Deanna.
Hi, Deanna Germain. I'm vice president in Park Rapids at the League of Women Voters Park Rapids.
Which brings us.
I saw CC White, who is on.
Yep.
I have Carolyn White, or CC, whichever you prefer, and I'm the president in Park Rapids. And have we heard from Connie yet?
No.
Okay, so Connie Shepard.
Oh,
that's Corinne. Yeah.
Corinne,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, we have.
And we did.
I got small pictures on my screen here.
How about Anne? Did we hear from Anne yet?
Oh, hi, I'm Ann Flynn, Fillmore County. I'm membership chair, and our presidency is supposed to rotate. So we are trying to do the rotating thing. So
Does the next person in line know that they're rotating in yet?
but, you know, it's I'll put it under, it's a journey.
It is. I think everyone can relate on the call.
Yeah, we tried that co-president and all of a sudden one president thing too. Yeah, I know that.
Yes. Let's see. Did we hear from Heidi?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I've got a new computer, so this is funny. I am Heidi Klumpkin. I'm co-president of League of Women Voters St. Paul with Amy Perna.
Great. And I thought I saw Amy on the list, but I don't see her right now on the call. Maybe she'll join us. And then we've got Mary Broad with us. Mary, you want to say hello?
Hello.
Mary's in the office, kind of making sure although it looks like you
well,
may be
no, I'm in my office. Woodbury. I'm the new Zoom website person. And that's about it. Vote 411.
All right, thanks, Mary.
You bet.
All right, did we catch everybody?
I don't think we heard from Deanna or Catherine Husted yet.
If I can just, before I forget, I wanted to thank Mary. She's been helping out Fillmore County quite a bit, Mary. So we appreciate your extra time there.
Pleased to help. It's my job.
Oh, yeah, but still, we're still grateful. Yeah.
Well, happy to help.
Okay.
I think we covered everyone. So thanks, just thanks for saying hello. Thanks for being here today. This is meant to be sort of just an introductory session. We're going to show you where a lot of information can be found, not necessarily go through the information itself, but it's kind of just to help you get oriented in your role, know how to access information, like I said. Another part of our regular networking among league leaders. And then a primary purpose of today is to answer any questions that you might have as to how we can best support you. And all right, so the session overview, we're going to spend a little bit of time on our planning, what we call the rhythm of threes, and you'll see what that is. Talk a little bit about governance, show you some the Minnesota site and the US site. Then what we call putting it into action, kind of the tools that you might use in your everyday work with the league, walk through the monthly planning calendar with you, talk about some timely issues, which will be the legislative session, convention coming up, voter service, and then do some Q&A, what's working for you and what's not. So the first is what we call our league threes. The first is our strategic plan, what we call priorities and people. And what you see here is our priority pillars. You can find this on the website as well. This is a direct result of our strategic plan that was implemented, I want to say 6 years ago now. And as you probably know, we're right in the middle of a new journey in strategic planning. We've hired a strategic planning consultant. If you haven't been connected with that person yet, you will be hearing from them as we are actively trying to connect with each league member so that everyone has some input into the future direction of the league. But here we've got what we call priorities and people, the 3 pillars, our lens that we look through. We want to be purposeful, inclusive, and sustainable. The second pillar is empowering voters. And you can see the different kinds of things that connect in these areas. Under purposeful, our Vote 411 and our candidate forums, our voter service handbook. For inclusive, our youth civic engagement fellows, focus on GOTV activities on the underserved, visible presence in diverse communities. And then sustainable, engaging local leagues in our PR and our storytelling, building task forces, engaging members in things like August Academy, January Jumpstart, and member monthlies. And then the third pillar is defending democracy. And so then you can also read it across. Our purposeful defending democracy is our people-powered fair maps, our member-engaged lobby and observer corps, bold actions to protect voting rights. Our inclusive defending democracy, restore the vote program. And I think we're going to be seeing legislation this session on that. Support DEI partnerships, act in partnership with diverse voices. And then sustainable defending democracy, connecting our members to legislators, tracking and connecting key contacts, and creating visibility in our advocacy work. And you can spend a little bit more time with that chart, but this will be updated following this next several months of work that we do, and coming up with the new strategic plan will help fill in some sort of similar chart looking forward for the next 3 to 5 years. We find it helpful to think about our work in 3 seasons. We've got our election season, which we've just finished last fall, last winter. Now we've moved into the legislative session, or the legislative season. And then, of course, after that is our annual meetings and council and convention season. So while these things overlap, it's helpful to think about these 3 large buckets that our work falls into. And then Patsy, why don't you cover the training opportunities that we have?
Okay, well, Some of you are well aware of it. You know, we are in our January Jumpstart. We're wrapping those up. And that's similar to August Academy, where they are 1 hour Zooms covering a number of topics and office positions or committee positions to just help reinforce what is going on and help educate new members to those positions. The August Academy is a similar thing with workshops and orientation sessions to support league leaders and league members. And then if it's an election season, which almost every fall has become election seasons, it helps. There's sessions on the elections and helping people get ready for the elections and, you know, the forums and everything. And then we have the member monthlies, which is coming soon. That is a new thing. And it's going to be held on the second Monday of every month. And part of it's going to be for brand new members to help orientate them to league, hopefully without overwhelming them. And then also provide information about the League US and League Minnesota, similar to what we're doing tonight. You know, what the resources are, what the different components of league are, and then give timely information.
So I think it's our second time through each of these. We've done August Academy twice. This is second time for January Jumpstart. And if you attended this same session last year, you probably saw that member monthlies were coming soon last year, and we just did not get to them, get to starting them. But the exciting part of that is we have a new board member that joined the state board, Colleen Feige from Edina, and she and Jane Hovland have teamed up to be our membership co-chairs at the state board level. So that they will be spearheading this member monthlies that will be coming soon. And now we're really excited and confident that they will indeed be coming soon. And just a word, this is not meant to substitute anything that your local league might be doing for new members or for members. It's meant to enhance what you're already offering locally, so that we're sort of working together, state and local leagues, on that. Any questions on the training opportunities? And I can't see everyone, so and we're a small group, so if you've got a question, just feel free to speak up.
This is Karen Langston.
Yeah.
I attended the membership Jumpstart last week. And so I heard a little bit about this. I was thinking that this was for membership chairs each month to interact with each other and learn more about things.
That's a great question. And it's actually two separate things. The member monthlies are sort of, as we've described here on the slide, for any members, all members, new members, old members, whoever. But we also, Karen, thanks for bringing it up. Our new membership co-chairs are starting monthly calls. They might be doing them every other month. I'm not sure what they told you, but for membership chairs at the local level, just like we have a monthly voter service chair call, we have a monthly president's call, we're instituting a monthly membership chair call as well, so that those leaders can connect with each other and share ideas and network.
That is super. I am thrilled.
Me too. In fact, that shows up, well, it can show up here on this next slide, or this is the spot for it. Patsy, do you want to go over this one, or should I?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right.
So there are, they call them the monthly connectors, that are opportunities for people to weigh in with your cohorts. There is the president's leadership meeting. It's a Zoom. It's the first Thursday of each month from 12 to 1 o'clock. It is recorded and posted on the website under member resources. But it's really nice if somebody from each league attends. If it's not a president, maybe it's a co-president or vice president or a committee chair, because you get a lot of really good information from that. And also League Minnesota also gets good questions back from our presidents and leaders. Then there's the all member news, which comes out on the second Monday of each month. You know, it's that newsletter. It's got lots of great information. It's got information about upcoming events and really good links for to events and further notice. And then there's other chair Zoom meetings. There's the voter services leaders meet the second Monday at noon. Advocacy and program, as it says, third Fridays at 2. There's a climate change task force first Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. And then there's an occasional DEI roundtable that takes place. And I know those are starting up now after the holidays. And that's an evening event. And you know what? I'm not part of DEI, so I don't know exactly when they meet. So if somebody knows when they meet, you know, go ahead and shout it out.
That's a good point, Patsy. We should have added that to this slide. And then the other point that can be added to this slide is just what Karen brought up, that there'll be the membership Zoom meetings once a month as well. The all member news, just a point, we've gotten much better as an organization with members opening this up, but we still don't have a really high open rate on those emails that go out. So as league leaders, if there's a way that you can touch base with your membership and make sure that they're getting the all member news and that they're checking in with the all member news and opening it, because it really is filled with a ton of great information to carry you through to the next month.
I just looked up because a couple of people from our league work with that DEI roundtable. It looks like it's the 4th Monday of each month at 6 p.m. And I see at least one head shaking, so in agreement. So there you go.
And it looks like Mary has let me know that the membership meetings will be every other month beginning February 15th, and they are on the web calendar already. Thanks, Mary. All right. Moving on to governance, setting up a firm foundation. And look, there's our photo with masks still, a year or two old. I'm going to click on the governance. This will take us to the LWVMN governance page. So our web address, of course, is lwvmn.org. And you can find governance in the About section. The very bottom is the governance page. And here's where you find things like our annual report, and there'll be there's a new one showing up right now. Our bylaws are on here. Our Form 990, sometimes you might need that locally to show that, prove that we're a nonprofit. Our 501c3 status, same thing. Our audit is on here, our latest audit. And then the other section that you might find useful is called policies and guidance. Click on that. And here's where we have all policies. Many of these are for the state organization, but many of them are also transferable to the local leagues. Either they cover you, or you might want to use it as a template for something that you might want to set up locally. So we've got our finance policies, our board policies. Over on the right-hand side, our member policies. Here's where you'll find our DEI statement, our member code of conduct, our speak with one voice policy. Our youth protection policy is here, but I'll let you know the board just voted last month on an update to that. And I think right now it's the 2021 version. So there will be a new version of that policy soon. Some advocacy and action and programs policies like our coalitions and partnerships, best practices for staying nonpartisan, and then some voting and elections policies. While they all live here in the policies section, some of these also reside in member resources, which we'll visit in a little while. But this is your one-stop for policies, should you need to find them. Now let's visit the US site, and that website is lwv.org. And they've recently kind of revamped their whole website. I think making it much more user-friendly, but there's no getting around the fact that there is a mountain of information here, and it's not always easy to find what you're looking for. Now, I took us right to the league management page. Let me go back to their main page, if I could. Oh, back to main site. If you just go to lwv.org, I find the easiest way to get to the league management page is to scroll all the way to the bottom of the page. And there's a league management button right here. And on the league management site, you will find a lot of things that relate to your local league. There's a lot of helpful things in operations and governance, for example, and communications. You got your logos, talking points on different issues. Let's go there and see what we've got. I don't want to spend a lot of time here, but I wanted you to know that it's here and to know that you should just sort of investigate and see what you might be able to find. So under talking points, for example, here's from December, our stance on Twitter as an organization. And I know several local leagues back in December had that question when there was a lot of turmoil with Twitter, and many of our local leagues use Twitter, and they were wondering, what do we do about this? So here's where you would find the guidance on that. Lots of other talking points, and I'll just let you peruse through that. Any other questions about what you might find here? All right, the last thing I want to show you under governance is the Minnesota Council on Nonprofits. They're a great resource for us. We are a member. But you might want to look here if you're thinking about policies that aren't showing up as a league policy so far, but it's something that you might want to apply to your local league, or best practices in certain areas, like I don't know, fundraising, for example, or pick a topic, what you see here. This is a resource for you to use as well, and it's minnesotanonprofits.org. All right. Now back to member resources. I'll click on the page, and then Patsy, do you want to start walking us down the page a little bit about what we can find here in member resources?
Sure. Member resources. The first thing I want to say is it is great. It is like a one-stop, as it says, one-stop shop for league leadership, but don't get overwhelmed by it. Be sure and just check back when you have a specific question, and
Well, that link's not working for some reason.
It scrolls through through a lot of great information. So you click on the member resources, and
I think I think I had problems. So Patsy, I might not be on the right page.
Because it starts out with the firearm study, which was a huge study for us, for League Minnesota to do. It came out of the convention a couple of years ago to update the firearm study, which hadn't been updated since the 90s. And of course, we know a lot of things have changed with the firearm study, with ghost guns and the 3D printers and everything that's going on. So there was a committee, they did a lot of in-depth work on it. They did great work that went through the state board, and they asked for some fixes on it, and then it came back, and now it's out to leagues. Hopefully your league, if you haven't done it already, you will be bringing it to your league members for feedback and to fill out the surveys, either Zoom or electronically, or members can fill out the surveys themselves directly and send them in. So we hope to get a real good participation, because after that, it comes to convention. What the answers were in the surveys comes to convention, and it'll get passed at convention to be updated. So that's a real big one that it starts with right off. Scrolling down, you get the league administration admin resources. We get action and advocacy, which is really good for your action and advocacy, or I know some people call it different teams, different names. That's the Observer Corps, the Lobby Corps, and the new County Observer Corps. So there's a lot of great information there. And if we keep scrolling down, there's the monthly planning calendar. And this is a great resource for individual leagues to track activities, to make sure you stay on track to be aligned with state league, and also as a reminder of some activities you might be considering. So that is a real good calendar to look at, that monthly planning calendar. You move down to membership. There is, there's league admin. There is, where's the calendar on there?
I wonder, yeah,
No.
I'm back. Thanks for being so resourceful and just taking over. Patsy. I have an
Anyhow.
unstable connection, it looks like.
Anyhow, there's great handbooks. There's a lot of information, you know, to reinforce with your committee members or committee chairs, to look at those and go to those for information. And just don't, as I say, don't get overwhelmed. It's a lot of great stuff. And I think it's a tremendous credit to League of Women Voters Minnesota that they get all this information on the website for our members to have access to it directly. Where are we at, Laura?
Well,
What's
I'm
coming up?
sorry, this is my computer connection that's having a problem. Am I still?
Yeah, you're kind of fuzzy and you're frozen right now. Right now, people should be working on their legislative interviews. There's the guide.
I'm gonna.
Right. So that's what I tried to just cover. I think a good one, if you don't mind clicking on that link, guidance of local leagues on coalitions and partnerships. Good.
I'm very sorry. Now I'm on my iPad, so I'm going to rely on Mary. And if we could please go back to member resources, I want to make sure there was a couple things that I wanted to say. There we go. Perfect. All right. I think I heard Patsy say something about the firearms study. Is that right?
Correct.
That's great. And if anyone has any questions, now is the time to ask. And then if you could scroll down a little bit, Mary, let's click on under admin.
The firearm study, they'd like to have all the surveys in by, I believe, February 15th is the drop dead date.
That's right. Let's click on that local league planning calendar if we could.
And Laura, what I was telling people was this is a great resource for local leagues to kind of stay on track and, you know, be able to plan ahead for things that are coming up, or, you know, to
Yep.
stay on track.
Exactly. So we've put everything on there that we could think of at the state office to be aware of at your local league. So let's just look at January here, where we're at. We've got our January Jumpstarts on there. We're telling you legislative session is beginning. Your rosters are due to the US by the end of the month. Now is when you start planning for your annual meetings, doing legislative interviews, and then the program for action planning meeting is what you might be having locally. What a lot of local leagues do is take this calendar and then they personalize it to their own league by adding all the things that you locally need to do each year. But we found this to be a really effective tool because obviously there are things that we do over and over again each and every year. And so it does help keep us on track. And I think that Michelle and the staff have done just a fantastic job of pulling together all those items that we need to be aware of throughout the year. So that's what I wanted to say about that. So now back to the member resources page. And I think you already pointed out, Patsy, here's where you find your handbooks, like your voter service handbook, your member handbook. Let's click on that. That was new this last year, newly updated. And Sunaschenko, as the former board membership leader, did a fantastic job of reworking this and taking it from an actual paper handbook to something that's virtual here and can be updated consistently. And it really is a wonderful resource for, let's see, who we are, scroll down a little bit, what we do, which include, and then how we do it, which includes how to form a unit, how to run an effective meeting, how to understanding membership, payments and dues, those kinds of things, developing a communications plans, just wonderful resources here for structuring your league and for going to how to go about league business, I guess is how I might say it. Okay, back to member resources. Let's see, anything else we should touch on here? I'll scroll down just a little bit. Your logos are here and your branding information. There's a merchandise section for the things that you might need to order. This is something that Kristen used to help out with. Mary, who at the state office is helping with ordering now? Do you recall? Is it you or is that Lorene?
At this point, it's Amy, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. It says right there. Amy Perna is assisting with those orders of those items that you might need for your local league. And then voter service. And then at the very bottom, we've got all the newsletters and call notes from the different monthly calls that we mentioned earlier. You can find those notes and recordings here, as well as each month's all member news. All right. Any questions on this member resources page on our website? All right. I won't click on it. You're going to get a copy of this presentation too, so you'll have all these links available to you. But there's also the guidance for local leagues on your coalitions and partnerships. And then what I do want to click on is this legislative session webpage. This is something new that staff has worked on, and it's really a fantastic resource. There we go. And I think how you get to this is right now on the main page of the web page, it shows up as a button, and then it's also under the what we do. Thanks, Mary. And let's slowly scroll down to see what we've got here. So first we've got what are our legislative priorities, and this is what the LWVMN board voted on last fall that would be our priorities for this session. And you can see restore the vote is at the top, automatic voter registration, and then banning voter election official intimidation, removing barriers to vote. Really, all of our core issues about voting have made it into our priorities. And it's really exciting actually, because many of these things can actually become a reality this session, which we didn't expect this time last year, for example. So you've got our priorities, and let's scroll down a little bit. Yep, just some links that you can click on, a little bit more detail about those kinds of those priorities. Then you've got a list of our partners, which is also LWVMN board approved each year. And for 2023, these are our partners. And those don't change very much from year to year. But every once in a while, there's a new partner that's added or someone that we're not working with any longer. But this is our list of partners. Next, you'll find our positions and actually the links on other places in the website to find our positions in the program for action. And then the next section is on Observer Corps and Lobby Corps, how to get involved as individual members in this process. Very exciting. Also, this has developed greatly in the last couple of years and gives many opportunities for individual members to be involved in the issues that they care about. And then lastly, some more advocacy resources that you can find here. So really a well put together page covering the legislative session and everything that you need to know about advocacy this session. Any questions on this? All right, great. And Mary and Patsy, thanks so much for just stepping up when I've been having technical difficulties here. It's
No problem.
very helpful. What's coming up? And we've got the links here for you. So this is sort of the to-dos that we have. Several leagues have already conducted legislative interviews. If you haven't yet, here's the legislative interview guide. Is it easy to click on these, Mary, or is that?
Let's find out.
All right.
There.
And it might be, yeah, you got it. So we've got the guide that's put together here. If your league is one that does legislative interviews, shows you the format, how to get the interview, really all the details that you need to know. And Patsy, do you know if there's a deadline on returning this information? Everything goes back to Sam. I don't know that there's a deadline on it.
I'm not aware of any deadline on it. They just want to get it as quickly as possible. And
Sure.
It's really depends on working with your legislators. This was an early legislative session, and so we've got one done, and we're having a real hard time getting hold of one of our other legislators. They're not responding, so that happens.
And so obviously the sooner that we can get this information back, the better, because what this helps us understand is where specific legislators stand on specific issues. So as we're lobbying on those priorities that we have, because of the questions that we've asked in these interviews, we know who our allies will be in those specific areas. Program planning guide and the program planning survey. So this is the survey that was recently put out to local leagues, and this does have a due date on it. It's March 15th. And it goes back to Sam Strykins. And it's really asking about our program, which is our positions, and whether your local league thinks we ought to be changing any of those positions. And the timing on it is important, because if your local league thinks we ought to do something different, we need to know that so that we can talk about it at convention in June. And that's why we need to know what your thoughts are on this by March 15th. So I think I'll move on from that unless someone has any specific questions on program planning.
Where did you find that? Where is that survey at, Laura? League leadership? Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's here in the presentation, and on the website, I don't have it. Let me see. I believe it was also sent out via email to everyone. Mary, do you know offhand where to find that on the website?
I don't. It's not in the menu system, so it would, I can copy
Laura,
this link, I think.
I think it's just where you find program planning on the members resource page.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's on one of those columns and they're all in there.
Yep, I think you're right. See, there's so much information. It's hard to keep track.
I just put it in the chat as well.
Did you, it sounds like you sent it out to everybody? So
I believe it got sent out, and you're exactly right. I think that was Carolyn that spoke up to say it is in member resources.
Okay.
It's under advocacy, and it's called the Program Planning Survey 2023.
Pretty easy to find.
Yes.
As long as you keep scrolling.
All right.
Yeah.
The next thing is convention coming up in June. It will be the 2nd and 3rd, and it's going to be in the lovely Minnesota city of New Ulm. And the New Ulm League is very excited to host us all. It will be in person, and more information on that will be coming very, very soon. There was a special January Jumpstart session on it that maybe some of you attended. I don't think the web page has been put up yet, but it will be very shortly. And then there's a link on how to determine convention delegate counts, and that can also be found on the member resources page. And then just a mention about the LWV US Council will be June 22nd through the 25th, and that is going to be in Las Vegas this year. And so I'm certain that there will be more information about that coming out as well. And the delegates are determined after you hand in your rosters, which I think are due very soon. And a lot of local leagues end up not sending anyone to council. So if your local league wants to send multiple people to council, there's always delegate spots that are available.
Just an aside, I'm guessing Las Vegas in June, the airline flight should be quite reasonable in price.
Might be hot there, I don't know. Let's, Mary, do, I'm aware that we're closing in on time as well. So let's just show the Vote 411 page and then the Elections 411 page. These have been around for a little while, so you may have already seen them. Vote 411 takes you to even a separate website, vote411.org. And for many of you, this is sort of an off year. You might have some local elections, but not nearly as many this year. But we will be offering Vote 411 to leagues for their candidates this year as well. And hopefully most of you participated and were active with that last year. And let's go to Elections 411. This is a wonderful page that was put together to sort of answer all the questions that have arisen about election integrity. So an introduction, and then talking about accurate and secure voting in person, how our voter registration works, voting by mail and absentee, all the testing and recounts that we do, different facts from the Secretary of State's office, all kinds of election safeguards that we have. It's a great resource. There's some flyers here that can be printed out and distributed locally. And I know we were very involved with that prior to the election in 2022, but that issue is not going away. And we're going to need to be really sharp about all the election integrity safeguards that we have in place. I think we made a big difference actually in the education that we were able to provide to voters, helping them feel more safe and secure about voting. All right, next page. I wanted to mention again, we've mentioned this on the president's call the last couple of months, and we'll be talking about it again later this week. But part of our strategic planning process right now includes a retreat for local league presidents or other leaders. Our goal is really to have each local league send a leader to the retreat. It will be April 1st and 2nd at Charleston Meadows Retreat Center. That's in Victoria, Minnesota. It's a lovely lakeside setting. And it's the opportunity to provide input on the overall organizational strategy. That's part of the goal, but the other goal for that retreat is really to have a networking and connecting opportunity with other local leagues. The feedback that we've gotten is that all of the opportunities that we've been trying to provide to connect are really valuable to local league leaders, and you learn a lot and from others, and it's just a great opportunity to be with other league leaders. And it's something that has been league tradition over the years, but of course COVID changed some of those things, and now we're trying to get back to a little bit more in-person possibilities for folks. Any questions on that? Okay, next slide. We've got a few minutes left now for either sharing some things that work for you or asking those burning questions that you might have as either a new leader or a leader that's been around for a while. Now's your chance.
I'd like to just point out that Mary posted in the chat the link to the document that is that the program planning guide that the question was asked about, Mary?
Yes.
Okay, so there's the link to the program planning guide survey.
And then Mary, maybe we stop screen sharing for the last couple of minutes here. No, thank you. All right, any questions that are hanging out there? I think for many of you here, this is probably a refresher on some of this information. You've seen it before, but it's always good to have a reminder, I think, of what's out there and where you might be able to find resources.
So what's working for people? Anybody have any great tips to share?
Well, one thing on January, this is Ann Flynn in Fillmore County. On the January 17th rally at the Capitol, that was worked out real well, having that bus. Because we drive to Rochester all the time. That's no big deal, but it was just so much easier. And then we also connected with people from the different organizations. So it worked out well. So thanks to maybe something to keep in mind for another time or something. Yeah.
Good feedback, thanks. All right, well, thanks everyone for being here. I think there will be a follow-up survey just asking your opinion on how things went and what you might like to see different. We are always here in the office to answer any questions. One question just came through that I can maybe try to answer. What's the cost for the Victoria event? I don't believe that there will be a cost to you, but we'll confirm that and we'll get the details going forward here. I believe that will be incorporated into the cost of our strategic planning process. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for all the good work that you do. Take
Yeah.
care.
Thank you. Thanks, Laura.